Okay, we're gonna need another plan.
With poorly lit metal halls, flickering neon lights, a larger-than-life mechanical sprawl, and a cyborg ninja protagonist, Steel Seed has a lot on the surface that piqued my interest. I can be easily lured into B-tier sci-fi stories if things look weird enough. Unfortunately, this one is weird in all the wrong ways. Its stealth action and energetic platforming are its best traits, but they are uneven across the roughly 12-hour campaign. Some really cool moments and creatures end up lost among miles of dreary and uninspired spaces, overshadowed by frustrating combat and flimsy story that sap whatever shuddering signs of life this machine had in it.
You have nowhere to run. Resistance is futile.
Maybe we can reason with it? Worth a shot.
The problems with Steel Seed start with its hero's generic presentation. Zoe, awkwardly plucky and earnest, feels completely out of sync with the post-apocalyptic sci-fi world she's in. She's well voiced, but not well written, relying heavily on some vapid self-reflection about a past she can't fully remember and superhero movie-style banter with her robot pal.
So, you're useful now?
Ma'am, you are on a planet overrun by killer robots and the only chance to bring humanity back from extinction. I need you to stop quipping and lock in.
Sure, Kobe. Whatever you say.
Steel Seed is dense with lore about how some major corporation was humanity's last hope until the CEO, who is also Zoe's father, got double-crossed by whoever and whatever. But its plot is light on interesting happenings or compelling reasons to continue to the next objective outside of because it's telling me to. There's a part that technically satisfies the literary definition of a plot twist, but you'll see it coming so far in advance it might as well be a naked man covered in gold. You'll spend a great deal of your time navigating this post-human settlement by hopping on platforms and scurrying up walls. It's all very reminiscent of the Uncharted games, where shimmying across a ledge could be filled with enough mishaps and jump scares to make the process a tense one. Steel Seed even goes a step further, making its high-stakes sequences of sliding through collapsing structures or outrunning gunfire feel way more precarious, as it's pretty easy to fail some of these in the more intense sections. Light puzzle mechanics can add some small speed bumps to your progress, often in the form of commanding your R2-D2 coded companion Kobe to shoot unreachable buttons while your hands and feet are busy keeping you firmly attached to a wall. These were just dynamic enough to stay engaging, which is all I can ask for a game that has platforming but isn't entirely focused on that kind of gameplay, a la Astrobot. Things do get more clever in certain chase encounters, where your perspective changes from 3D to 2D in order to outrun enemy fire from the background. But these moments are scarce, and Steel Seed does nothing that clever anywhere else.
Watch out! He's making it collapse!
The vast environments you'll be doing all of this poking around in are very hit and miss, visually speaking. There are quite a few stretches of pretty generic techno hallways or off-troped rust-chic junkyards that really don't inspire awe if you've seen any science fiction ever. But occasionally those halls will be filled with weird little robot bugs, or an absolute unit like this will rise to greet you. And you can't help but think, they really cooked with this one at least. Generally though, there's very little in the world Zoe is tasked with saving that's even worth remembering. Something me and the amnesiac protagonist have in common.
These ones are fully operational, unfortunately.
There are a lot of enemies in all of these spaces looking to stop you from saving the day, and you can take care of them with stealthy wit or brute force. The stages where you find most enemies are rife with nooks and crannies to hide in and precariously placed obstacles to use as distractions or to cause killing blows themselves. At first, stealth is pretty simple thanks to the very slim variety of different bad guys that patrol around, as well as your limited starting skills. I was happy to see that blossom into something more robust as time went on, but the fairly strict checkpoints also mean you need to start from the beginning of a section if you failed during it, sometimes throwing 15 to 20 minutes of patient stabbing and enemy hacking directly into the recycling bin when you slip up. You also run out of new ways to take down foes pretty early on, and I found myself setting a lot of the same traps throughout. So while the hunt started tense, it became stale sooner than I'd hoped. Zoe and Kobe gain more tricks as they progress, but you sort of have to earn the ability to buy them with the points you find breaking containers or enemy robots, completing what can often feel like busy work first. Kill 5 enemies without being seen and you'll earn the privilege of buying the extremely useful glitch mine skill, which, let me check my notes here, will go a long way towards killing bots without being seen. A lot of the skills have requirements that can come naturally through play, but others were more tedious tasks like searching amongst the mostly bland locations for hidden pickups or completing more challenging skill tests like killing a certain amount of enemies in a specific way in a small window of time, which were things I happily avoided.
Your continued efforts to elude me will only delay the inevitable.
I less than happily avoided outright combat like a computer virus though. From the buggy lock-on that lets you focus on an enemy but will still pull you towards other nearby foes, to mashy attack strings with mushy responsiveness, to the dry attack animations from both Zoe and all of her victims, confronting your foes directly is generally a miss. None of the skills you unlock make combat feel any better, despite giving you some admittedly strong options for late game encounters that can spin out of control with the number of potential participants in any given melee. By the end of the campaign, if I got caught during a stealth section, I'd more often just reload at the last checkpoint than clean up the foes that caught me, because it was simply less boring that way. Zones where you have no choice but to fight in open combat were consistently my least favorite parts of Steel Seed, but mercifully, they are few and far between.
They've got weapons too? That's scary.
Steel Seed is cursed by mediocrity. Its combat is a low point, so abrasive that I'd rather restart whole areas when I got caught than have to navigate through its jank. But its real problem is that everything else, from the bland characters and predictable story, to the forgettable locations that the tale takes you through, to the initially fun stealth sections that eventually wear thin, will lose the fight for a spot in my memory as soon as I'm done with this review. And that's a shame, because there are a small handful of shiny chrome moments to find here, but they are buried under a whole lot of rust. For more, check out our reviews of South of Midnight or Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. And for everything else, stick with IGN.